I think it's obviously apparent, ladies and gentlemen, that there has been a momentum shift. While the Democrats continue to lie in the liberal media and whine and complain, especially about the Russians or especially about the so-called President Trump's rhetoric, the real threat to our nation has been operating in the shadows. Of course, it is the mainstream media, but there's more. Attacking our economy, hacking our systems, and yes, even interfering in the elections. A former President Trump campaign advisor, Steve Cortez, is one of the representatives of Hispanics in the United States at this point, and he gives a little twist to CNN on what they need to understand about President Trump.
Steve, I got to ask you, because honestly, under what circumstances did anyone at the White House think that this meeting was a good idea on today of all days?
Yeah, you know, Don, you said that this meeting was embarrassing. I think, quite frankly, what's embarrassing is the condescension that you've shown to Kanye West, someone who I think is a brave and independent thinker, a creative genius. Does he speak in a different vernacular? Of course he does. Like a lot of artists, it's a vernacular I don't necessarily always understand, but I do understand that he's a great thinker. And for you and a lot of your guests to dismiss him as a, quote, token Negro and to question his mental stability when you're not doctors, when you haven't examined him, I think is really unfortunate. And it's an example, unfortunately, that is all too common on the left, which is liberals, when a minority doesn't toe the party line.
By the way, the person who said that comment that you said the token Negro thing is a conservative. But go on.
Well, not in my mind. She's not a conservative. But let me also tell you this, more to the point, which I think is really what's important
she didn't call him a token
Charles's point
Negro.
about
She
does
says
the
all of a
president,
sudden now he is the token Negro for the Trump administration.
right? Talking about him, right?
Yeah.
Now, to Charles's point about does this president care about minorities, let me tell you my personal experience with him in that very same Oval Office without cameras present. All he wanted to know about from me is, what can I do for the Hispanic community? What can we do for growth in your community? I said, well, one thing you can do right now, let's send a tweet. And then let's talk about more long-term things that we can do about the community. So he absolutely cares whether the camera's on or off. But Kanye West is a person who speaks from the heart. You call it a rant. You always say this in your Chiron. You editorialize. It's not a rant to me. And as a matter of fact, it was inspirational. I don't find him unstable. I find him creative. I find him inspiring. And in that room, you had three people, an amazing artist, an amazing athlete, and an amazing builder, all saying, what can we do in the political process to make the prosperity and security of America broader into minority communities? That's a great thing for this country. Jim Brown, Kanye West, Donald Trump are visionaries. They are great men trying to help this country.
I just don't have the energy tonight because there's so much in the air to come on. And I don't understand how is watching someone with sense, with eyes and with ears, and talking about the mental issues that they are confirming and addressing themselves. How is that? People have been saying that it's disparaging. How is that disparaging? How can you take the stigma off of mental health and mental issues if you pretend that you can't talk about it or that they don't exist when he's telling you, I have them and I'm not taking my medication?
No, you didn't say that he has had issues. He certainly has addressed that as well. He should. You said earlier today that this was a minstrel show. I mean, could you possibly be any more condescending to this man?
No, I'm just telling the truth.
By the way,
I'm not being condescending to this man. I'm not being condescending to him. I'm telling the truth. And if you ask African Americans around the country, they will tell you the exact same thing. That's what it looked like today. Sadly, and I'm saying this not out of animus. Hold on. No, not out of animus for Kanye West, but because I feel sorry for him, and I think he needs to take care of himself. And I think the people around him are giving him the wrong advice by allowing him to go out and do this.
Look, these are the kind of tactics that you and the resistance, you and your anti-Trump folks like to employ.
I can't. Can you repeat that? I'm sorry, I missed what you said.
To break.
No, not you, Maria. I mean, can you and Steve? Go ahead, Steve.
You and your friends and your allies in the resistance. These are the kind of tactics.
I'm not in the resistance. Don't.
When a minority.
Please, Steve, don't come over with that. I'm not part of the resistance. Just because the truth is not on your side.
You call Donald Trump a racist every night on your program, and you're telling me you're not part of the resistance.
Did you watch tonight? Did I call him one tonight?
I'm not sure if you have yet, but it's just about every night.
Then don't make up things. You're making up things again. And if I called him that, I do it out of evidence.
Just about every night. How about that?
Okay, no, I do it a lot. I do it when it is warranted.
And look, when one of us, When we minorities dare to think for ourselves, and when we dare to leave liberal orthodoxy, what happens? We are immediately vilified. We're called an Uncle Tom.
Steve, speak for yourself. Steve, speak for yourself. I've been called that before. I don't buy into that. I don't think it's despair. I don't care. I don't care if you call me those words, because I think about the person who is saying it. So if Kanye West wants to be a conservative, that's his business. If Kanye West wants to support Donald Trump, that's his business. But have some sense about it. Don't go in the Oval Office and embarrass yourself by speaking non sequiturs and about things that you have no idea about. Talking about hydrogen aviation. You know the last time we talked about hydrogen aviation? It was a Hindenburg. And you see what happened with that. So it's just
he doesn't speak in a scripted, lawyerly manner. I'll be the first to say that. He doesn't speak in a political manner. He speaks in a vernacular. As I said,
that's not a vernacular
that I don't always
get. That is
get.
not a vernacular.
But all creatives are like that.
If you don't get it, how do you know it's a vernacular?
No, I said I don't get all of it. I get a lot of it, and I get the most important points, by the way. When he said that the MAGA hat was a Superman cape, I sure got that, because you know what Trump has done, I think, more than anything for this country, is put confidence back into America. That's not just my opinion. Small business surveys, consumer confidence. This country is soaring with optimism. You'll never know it in your New York newsroom. People won't know it in the bubble of the Washington Beltway. But this country is soaring with optimism and confidence again.
And a lot of the people on this television are only in studios in Washington and New York. Yeah, I've lived in 4 red states.
There's way too much of that.
I grew up in a red state. I visit red states almost every week, and my family lives in a red state. I was in a red state last week. I know what red state people are talking about. I'm not stupid when it comes to that. I sit on here every night, and I interview people from red states. So speaking of condescension, you've come on, you're condescending. You tell me what you think I think, which you have no idea about.
No.
And then you have no idea.
You tell us every night what you think.
And then you watch something on television that is deeply disturbing, and you try to pretend it's not happening because you want to capitalize on it.
It wasn't disturbing to me at all.
What did you say back in the day when Common went to the White House? What did you say back in the day when he said George Bush didn't care about white people? What did you say back in the day when people were calling him the N-word for interrupting Taylor Swift? Did you come to Kanye West's defense? I don't think so.
Look, I had nothing to say about any of that. And by the way, I'm not saying Kanye's infallible. I mean, he's not the Lord God. He doesn't walk on water. I'm saying when I watched his speech today, though, I found it inspirational, and I saw a creative.
That's not true. That's not even true.
Did you find MF black man?
Did you find
nobody can even make sense having a conversation?
Did you find saying MF in the White House inspirational?
No, I don't find it inspirational.
So you called him
but
a genius.
I do find
so
talking
you
about
said he's a genius.
I'll give you that. Let me give you this.
Let me give you this. You said he's a genius, right? Did you say this? So I wonder if you agree with this.
Yes, a creative genius.
Okay, so he said, I say F the police. That's how I treat them. We buy our way out of jail. But we can't buy freedom. And then there's another one that said, I don't give a F. I don't give a F. But cops choking N-words out of the media. We finna have a protest and tear the city up. We about to tear this whole place up pretty much.
You think I'm going to defend those kind of lines? Of course not.
Okay, so that's what you're defending.
I mean, am I going to defend every word he ever uttered? Of course not. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that I did watch all of it. Was roughly, I think, 20 minutes today, and I found it inspirational. And I found it actually, to me at least, very reminiscent of the very conversations I was having with the president. Now, I didn't throw around F-bombs, but I'm also not a creative genius. I spoke in a much more political manner, in a more business-like manner with the president. But about the very same things, about onshoring to this country,
that you don't
about what's happening in my hometown of Chicago and Kanye's hometown.
When Kanye says something that you don't understand or agree with, it's because he is a genius. But if I say something that you don't understand or agree with, then I am condescending.
No, I understand everything you say.
Okay. But can we also just add that is specific, that this kind of police language was specifically what they attacked Common for.
That's why I read it. That's why I read it.
The exact same thing that they attacked Common for. So just go ahead.
I had nothing to say about
meeting was supposed to be about.
That's what
the meeting was supposed to be.